my name is Tori. I'm with American Income Child Safe Division. I'm here to drop off the Child Safe Kit program for John and Mary. Are you John? Can I come in? Is Mary here? We'll need her to join us. Can we use your kitchen table to make things go a lot quicker for us? How are you doing today? So as I shared with you before, my name is Tori. I'm with the Office and Professional Employees International Union Local 277. Here is my union card and my license. We are American Income Life, and we handle the benefits for the union, such as firefighters, police officers, and school teachers, and we've been doing so for over 60 years. We are working with the International Union of Police Associations to get these child safe kits out to families. There are 3 ways that you can get the child safe kit. The first way is the principal of the school endorses the program. He mails a letter to the parents. You fill out this card, we call and come out. The second way is if you fill out a card at a festival, daycare center, online, or Facebook, we call and come out. And the third way is if you are sponsored or referred by a friend or family member, we call and come out. Now, since you care enough about your kids to get these kits, American Income Life has opened up additional benefits to you as if you were a union member, like a firefighter, police officer, or school teacher. They found that not only are the children not protected, but the parents aren't either. So the Child Safe program is endorsed by the International Union of Police Associations, the American Federation of School Administrators, and the American Federation of School Teachers. In fact, here's a sample letter that one of the hundreds of schools in the county mailed directly to the parents so that they can be better educated on the importance of the program. So this program is designed to have families ready in the event of a tragedy striking the household of any kind, such as a child goes missing or the parent doesn't return home. The purpose is to prepare and ensure the protection and security of the kids. So there are 5 items that make up the Child Safe Kit, and they are all at no cost. The first I will give you is the Child Safe Kit. If your child goes missing, authorities will have the information needed to help find it. We will also show you the Child Safe ID app that works in conjunction with the Amber Alert. Second, I will give you a family information guide. So this document's very similar to a will, but unfortunately most parents don't know that in the state of Florida, if you were both to pass away and it's not documented where your child would go, DCF can take your kids for a minimum of 2 to 3 days until they figure out who is best to watch your child. Third, I will give you a health service discount card. Now this is not an insurance plan, but it should give you 20 to 60% off on top of your health insurance. Fourth, I'll give you a MedFax kit. Now this is a trifold that lists all your medical information and health conditions for first responders and paramedics. And fifth, I will give you $4,000 of life insurance. Now they know that this is not a lot, but in the event of something happening, they want to make sure that whoever is watching the kids could at least take care of some of the immediate arrangements. Okay? I just wanted to give you a little outline of what I was going to cover with you, as opposed to just giving you a bunch of information without knowing where it came from. So there are 2 programs. There is a no-cost program and a program you must qualify for. If you qualify, you may enroll. These are family protection programs, which are insurance programs. They are approved and endorsed by the school board and the police union. Of these, I'll give you some information, but if you have any questions, please let me know. Now, it's important that if you have any questions, you ask me today. If there's anything you want me to explain again, ask me to explain it again today. And if there's anything that you want to do it today. Because once I'm finished with my day, I must report all the families I've seen into the system, and they won't send another agent like me to the same address for a period of 1 year. You may or may not receive a random verification call. They do this just to make sure I'm doing my job correctly. So the laptop will explain some, and I'll explain the rest. But if you have any questions, I'll stop what I'm doing and answer them. Now, if I needed to plug in my laptop, should I do it over here? Okay. Now, I've been talking all day. Is it okay if I get a glass of water? Thanks. Okay, so this first video is just going to explain a little bit about who we are. Video plays, because I can't play it on my thing. Okay. So a way that we give back to the company is offering positions inside of a way that we give back to the community is offering positions inside of our company. So do you know of anybody who is currently unhappy in their position or looking for a career change? No? Okay. Okay, so your first benefit is going to be the Florida Sexual Offenders and Predators List. Now this is going to list all the sexual offenders and predators in your neighborhood that have been arrested for sexual assault on minors. So you're going to Google Florida Sexual Offenders and Predators List, and it'll take you to the FDLE website. Looks like this. You're going to go up here and and click on search. Scroll down to the neighborhood search. Type in your address. Do you mind if you record? Your address, your city, and your zip code. And then you're going to change from the map to the list, and then change your radius to 2 miles. So it's going to list the predator that is closest to you. Now a lot of times it is 0.2 miles, so that's only 350 yards from your front door. So it's going to show their picture, their address, and what exactly they got arrested for. Now when families find out about this free website, they usually visit it either once a week, once a month, even once a day, just to make sure nothing has changed. So that's where this alert comes in. So if you go onto Offender Alert, it's going to ask for your email address and your address, and anytime someone new moves into your neighborhood, it will send you an email with their information. Okay, do you have any questions? Okay, here you go. Okay, so I don't mean to alarm you, but there are over 500,000 children that go missing every year. That is 1,300 children that don't come home a day to their parents like your children came home to you. And unfortunately, Florida is rated 3rd worst in human trafficking and child abductions behind California and Texas. Now when they heard about this, they decided to do something about it. So the goal is to have 75% of families in the Florida area have this program by the end of 2020. Now they know that this is a monumental task and it's going to take everyone's help in the community, so they ask us to ask you for your help. Now it's not money if that's what you're thinking, it's a lot simpler than that. They just ask for 10 people that you know with children. They ask for their name, how many kids they need. They ask for their name, their phone number, how many kids they need, and for you to let them know what you have done for them today. It's called Save a Child's Life program. So who's the first parent that you'd like to sponsor today? Okay, now I need you to text all the people that you have sponsored today and let them know these 3 things: free, child safe kit, and that Tori will be contacting them with more information. The hardest part about my job is when people think I'm a debt collector. Okay, so your next benefit is going to be the child safe kit. So on the child safe kit, anything that you want to be permanent, such as their name, you write in pen, but anything that changes like height or weight, you write in pencil. When you open it, you write all their information here, you attach their picture here, and then in this area is where you'll have the DNA sample, such as a fingernail clipping or a hair follicle, but if you do the hair, make sure you get it from the root. Down here is for their fingerprints, so it'll come with an ink strip that looks like this. Just pulls apart like so. And you make sure that you just stamp their fingers and don't roll it because they're much tinier than ours are. Do you have any questions about your child safe kit? No? Okay. Here you go. Okay, your next benefit is going to be the $4,000 of accidental death life insurance. Now this is for any accident or injury on or off the job. All you're going to do is fill this out in its entirety, and then you're going to mail these both in the same envelope to this address that I circled down here. Now this is zero cost for the first year. However, if you want to renew it next year, it's $1 per 1,000 per year, so only $2. They will allow you to increase it at that time of renewal, but the most they'll give you is $25,000. That's just $25 a year. Now the unions are usually about 20 to 40% cheaper than the civilian market, so you're not going to find anything better than this. Do you have any questions? Okay, here you go. Now your next benefit is your family information guide. Now John or Mary, do you have a will? No? Okay. Well, this is as close as you're going to get to a will at no cost. So up here it's just going to have your vital statistics, your veteran's information. If you're not a veteran, leave it blank. Your spouse's information, person to be notified if you're unconscious, person to be charged of final arrangements, your last will and testament, just leave that blank. Now your life insurance. John, do you have any life insurance? No? Mary, do you have any life insurance? No? Okay, well after you do the $4,000 of A&D, you'll get that policy within 2 to 3 weeks, so make sure you write that information here. it's very important that you write whatever health insurance you have or life insurance that you have down here, because 20 to 30 million dollars of life insurance gets unclaimed every year because the beneficiary doesn't know that they have it. And if the beneficiary doesn't get it, do you know who gets it? Right, the government. So down here is financial institution, whoever you bank with, safe deposit box. If you don't have it, leave it blank. Now funeral services. A lot of people don't like to talk about this, but once you get on paper, you don't have to talk about it. So John, do you want to be buried or cremated? Mary, do you want to be buried or cremated? I'll tell you a funny story. Last week I asked a guy if he wanted to be buried or cremated, and he said, "Oh no, I don't want to be buried. I'm claustrophobic." That was my exact reaction. And then down here is important, the special instructions. So I want so-and-so to watch my kid if we were to pass, or I want a certain item to go to a certain family member. So you fill this out in its entirety at home, and then take it to a notary to get it signed. Now, who did you say that you banked with? Chase? Okay, yeah, they can notarize it for you there. So just make sure you sign it in front of the notary, and then do not put it in a safe deposit box. A lot of times people don't even know that you have one, but if they did, they didn't have access to it. So don't put it in a safe deposit box and put it somewhere safe. Do you have any questions? Okay, here you go. Your next benefit is your health services discount card. Now this is not a life insurance program, but it comes at zero cost to you for eye care, hearing, prescription drug, and chiropractic. If you want to take advantage of this no-cost plan, you will fill this out, put a stamp on it, and then in 10 to 14 days you'll get a card that looks like this. Any questions? Here you go. Okay, and then the MedFax kit. Do you or anybody in your family, are you taking any prescriptions, medications? No? Okay. Well, you would list them all on this trifold, and then there are stickers in the kit that you will put on your front and back door, so that way if a tragedy struck the household, the first responders will know to look for this. There's also a magnet included that you'll put on the bag and then put it on your refrigerator. Okay, do you have any questions? Okay, here you go. Now, do you remember earlier I stated there were family protection plans that were approved and endorsed by the police union and school board? Okay, before I get to that, I must read off this mandatory read-off letter. Okay, it says, "Dear parents, the following benefits are being made available on a voluntary basis through the school board, the International Union of Police Associations, and the American Income. Because your time is valuable, and to be fair to the many parents waiting to be visited, your representative is allowed to stop by only once to advise you on your benefits and answer any questions you may have. If your benefits make sense, apply today, but either way, your opinion counts, and we would ask that you respond on an officer report form." So basically what this letter is saying in a nutshell is that you have an advantage and a disadvantage. The advantage is that you have access to programs that you didn't have access to before. So if you want to do it, that's okay. If you don't want to do it, that's okay. The disadvantage is that you won't be seeing us again for a period of 1 year. So you know how the 401k is a once-a-year enrollment? Okay, these benefits are also a once-a-year enrollment. Does that make sense? Fair enough? Do you have any questions? Okay. So every family that fills out a card is seen separately, and that's because every family has different needs and different wants. What may be right for your family may not be right for the family that I saw before you or that I'm going to see after you. So since each family has different needs and different wants, they asked me to catch everyone up to speed about the different types of life insurance out there. They found that a lot of people have life insurance, however, they don't really know what they have or how it works. So there are 3 different types of life insurance. Okay, so there is accidental. Let's see this. Okay, so there's accidental, term, and whole life. Accidental is pretty self-explanatory. Slip, boom, you're an angel, someone's getting some money. Term goes for a duration of time and then terminates. You can get term through your work or outside of your work. However, once you leave your work, all your benefits go bye-bye. But you already knew that. So typical term is usually 20 years. So John, how old are you? You're 42. So typical term is 42. And in 20 years, you'll be 62. Okay, so let's say, for example, you're paying a $50 premium every month. So that's 50 times 12 months times 20 years. That is $12,000 that you put into that policy. So let's say that you're still alive after the 20 years. That's great. Do you think you're ever going to see that $12,000 again, or do you think it's going to go away? Or do you think they're going to keep it? Absolutely. Good job. So it's 20 years. You're 20 years older. You're no longer a spring chicken. Do you think that $50 premium is going to stay the same, or do you think it's going to go way up because of inflation? Absolutely. It's going way up. Now, there are pros and cons to both term and whole life. One of the cons to term is that it only pays out 2 to 3% of the time. Well, why is that? Well, there's two reasons. First reason is that you have a term and then it goes up because of age, health, and inflation. And then you have a term and it goes up because of age, health, and inflation. And it keeps stair-stepping like that until it gets so expensive you can't afford it anymore. The second reason is that you may develop something medically within those years, such as you get cancer, get into a bad accident, or develop a disease like diabetes, and that makes you uninsurable, and they won't let you buy it again. So do you have any questions about term? Okay, whole life is the complete opposite of term. Term terminates, whole life is for your whole life. So we'll take this $50 premium. That's going to stay the same forever. Doesn't matter if you get cancer, into a bad accident, or develop diabetes, your premium never goes up and your coverage never goes down. Where in term, you never see your money again, but in whole life it is gaining 5% interest. In term, it only pays out 2 to 3% of the time. Whole life pays out 100% of the time. Okay, so now that you know the difference between accidental whole life and term, do you have any questions? Okay. Well, I'm just going to ask you some questions, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I'm going to ask you some questions to see what exactly you qualify for, and then we'll go from there. Okay, John, what month were you born? What day, what year? Mary, what month were you born? What day, what year? Okay, so this next part is critical. In order to receive these additional benefits, there are 3 criteria that you must meet in order to qualify for the program. The first criteria is that you must be a member of the union or have a child under the age of 18, which you do, so that isn't anything to worry about. The second is that you must enroll during the enrollment period, which is right now while I'm sitting here. And the third is that, which is the most critical, is that you must be in good health. In fact, a lot of families that we meet with need and want this protection or this program, but unfortunately they don't get it because due to health reasons. So I'm just going to ask you a few health-related questions, see what you qualify for, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so John or Mary, have you had any internal cancer in the past 2 years, insulin diabetes, heart attack, stroke, currently using oxygen through a tube, terminal illness, Alzheimer's? Have you used any form of tobacco within the last 12 months, including the occasional cigar or vape? Currently on parole or probation, or arrested or convicted of a DUI or anything else? No? Okay. John, are you currently taking any medications prescribed by a doctor? No. Mary, are you currently taking any medications prescribed by a doctor? You say yes. You say why, how long, and is it under control? Moving on. John, what is your monthly take-home income after tax and insurance deductions? And Mary? Okay. John, do you have any life insurance through your work? Mary, do you? Okay, well, let me explain how that works. While you're working with your company, you will be covered. However, as soon as you quit, get fired, or retire, that benefit's gone forever and you'll no longer be covered. But you knew that. Okay, do you have any questions about how your job insurance works? Okay, now whole life. Now, do you have any permanent insurance in place that is designated to take care of your final expenses and unpaid medical bills? Okay, John, if you had died last night, who would be taking care of your final arrangements, or your funeral arrangements today? Do they know that? And do they have an extra $15,000 in their checking or savings account to write a check for that amount without changing the way that they live financially? No, okay. Well, that's why it's so important to have a plan in place to cover that, so that your untimely death doesn't have to be a financial loss for the people you care most about. We have a great plan that covers that need, and I'll show you how it works in a minute. And do you have an insurance plan in place that will pay a large sum of money to your wife to replace your lost income if you were to pass away? Yeah. Okay. And then, Mary, if John had died last night, would you be able to continue to pay the mortgage, the car, the utilities, and put food on the table without his income? No. John, would you be able to take care to pay off all the bills if Mary were to pass away? Okay, most families would be in your same position. Mary, would you sleep better at night knowing that you had something in place to protect John's income? Well, we have a great plan that covers that need, and I'll show you how it works in a minute. Okay, do you rent or own? If you own, how much do you have left on your mortgage and how many years? And do you have a plan that will pay off your mortgage if you were both to pass away unexpectedly from an accident? Would it be fair to think that you want your kids to go to college? Do you know what the cost of a college education is today? Have you started putting aside college funds for your child in the event of either of you passing away unexpectedly from an accident? Okay. Okay, well, I'm just going to make your program now, but not really because it's not working. Okay. So this is next part is your deductible replacement. So this is for John, Mary, and the kid. Okay. This first part is your deductible replacement, and this is for any accident or injury on or off the job. So let's say that you are walking to your car in the morning, you trip, twist your ankle, then you go to the emergency room because you think it's broken, but it's not. It's just a bad sprain. The doctor tells you to stay off your feet for a couple days. Well, a couple days off your feet means a couple days off the job. So on top of lost income for that day, you're also paying co-pays and out-of-pocket expenses. Well, they're going to help cover some of those out-of-pocket expenses and pay you $100 each and every time you go to the walk-in clinic, emergency room, or your doctor. Now, this money doesn't go through your doctor, the health insurance, or the hospital. This is tax-free money that is getting paid directly to you. Now, let's say that you're driving to work and you're in a hurry, but someone's in a bigger hurry than you are, and you end up in the hospital for 10 days. Well, John, just because you've stopped working, does that mean your bills have stopped coming? No. So they are going to pay you $200 each and every night that you're in the hospital. So 10 days times $200, that is $2,000. Are you going to be worried about your bills if you have $2,000 coming to you? Exactly. This is also year-round coverage. So 365 days times $200 a day, that is $73,000 for each one of you. Now, staying in the hospital is difficult, but if it were to happen, would $73,000 come in handy? Of course. Now, let's say the accident is more serious. You have head trauma or internal bleeding. They're going to double this benefit to $400, and that is for up to 14 days. Now, whenever you come out of intensive care, you're not going straight home, are you? You're not going to put on your work clothes or go back to work right away. No, you're going to go back to the regular room for recovery. So you're going to go back to this $200 a day for up to 365 days. And do you have any questions on your deductible replacement? Okay, John, your final expense protection is a whole life policy, and it's earning that 5% cash value. So, John, you've been pre-qualified for $40,000. Mary, you've been pre-qualified for $40,000. And there is a $10,000 child rider on your policy. Now, does it make sense to have your final expense protection to help cover your family? Now, do you see why it's important to have your final expense protection on your family? Do you have any questions? Okay, Mary, do you remember earlier you stated that if John passed away, you wouldn't be able to pay the household bills without his income? Okay, John, you've been pre-qualified for 1 year at, say, $73,000. Mary, you've been pre-qualified for 1 year at $40,000. Now, this is a 10-year term that gets reviewed and renewed every 10 years. Does it make sense to have at least 1 year of your income protected? Okay, do you have any questions? Now, 97% of people who pass away prior to the age of 65 do so because of an accident. And what do you see on TV all the time? Shootings, fires, car accidents. So John, if the good Lord were to take you tomorrow, do you think it would be more old age heart attack or an accident? Exactly. Do you remember earlier we said that the mortgage is the most expensive bill, right? Okay, John, as an accidental death benefit, you are going to have $100,000 of mortgage protection. Mary, you're going to have $100,000 of mortgage protection. Now, does it make sense to have your mortgage protected if either of you were to pass away? Okay. Education. Okay. The need for our kids to go to college to get a college education seems almost indispensable. Okay, so John, as a accidental death benefit, you will have $100,000 of education protection, and Mary, you would have $100,000 of education protection. Does it make sense to have this need covered for our kids to go to college, to get a college education? Okay, do you have any questions? Now, your next area of coverage is your accidental death benefit. So, John, if you were to die in a standard accident, well, what's a standard accident? Slip, boom, you're an angel. You would be leaving Mary $20,000. Mary, you would be leaving John $20,000. And your kids would get $4,000. John, if you were to die in an auto accident, you would be leaving Mary $40,000. Mary, you would be leaving John $40,000. And your kids would get $8,000. Now, John, if you were to die in a common carrier, well, what's a common carrier? An airplane, a bus, or a taxi? You would be leaving Mary $100,000. Mary, you'd be leaving John $100,000. And your kids would get $20,000. Okay. Do you have any question about your accidental death benefits? Okay, your last area of coverage is your accidental dismemberment. Now, John, if you were to lose a hand, foot, or an eye, you wouldn't be going back to work right away, would you? No, you need some rehabilitation. So in a standard accident, you would be getting $10,000. Mary, you would be getting $10,000. And your kids would get $2,000. John, if in an auto accident, you would be getting $20,000. Mary, you would be getting $20,000. And your kids would get $4,000. John, if this happened in a common carrier, again, an airplane, bus, or a taxi, anything you pay to ride in or on, you would be getting $50,000. Mary, you would be getting $50,000. And the kids would get $10,000. This does pay out 2 times in a lifetime. And do you have any questions about your accidental dismemberment? No? Okay, so John and Mary, you have one. Oh no, I forgot this. Okay, going back to your accidental death benefits, all of this is going to be on top of each other. So your income, you'll get paid on top of your final expense. Your mortgage protection will be on top of this, on top of this. Education on top of this, on top of this, on top of this. Mary, same with you. All of these would be on top of each other. And then your accidental death benefits, this would also be on top of this, 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 this. So John, you would be leaving 27, about 320,000, give or take. And then Mary, yours would also be the same. So John and Mary, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 areas of coverage for all 3 of you. So how many hundreds of dollars do you think that this program would cost you out there? Okay, about 400, 300. Okay, well, this only is going to cost you, this only is $174.09. The reason why it's so low is because we don't have a caveman, a duck, or a gecko. Okay, do you have any questions? Okay, so what they want me to ask you is, do you want to do the recommended or something less? No, I can't do it. Okay, then don't do it. Then don't do it. If you have to think about this, then don't do it. There's a difference between needs and wants. Everybody needs coverage, but everyone wants lots of coverage. With this economy, most people are focusing more on their needs so that their family can at least be somewhat protected. And that's the most important thing to you, right? What most people are doing in your situation is doing something less, knowing that they can go back up to what they want later. So do you want to start somewhere between above 100 or below 100? Okay, how about 85.95? $15 to $20 a week? $15 or $20 a week? What's $20 a week? Well, $20 a week times 4 weeks, that's $80 a month. No, I can't do that. Okay, $15 a week. So let's break that down. That's $7.50 from you, Mom, $7.50 from you, Dad. So what can we get rid of in our weekly routine to make sure our family is at least protected? Is that one less coffee, movie, McDonald's? Get rid of that. Okay, so it's $7.50 a week from each of you, so that's $15 a week. $15 a week okay with you, Mom? $15 a week okay with you, Dad? Okay, so $15 a week times 4 weeks, that's $60 a month. $60 a month okay with you, Mom? $60 a month okay with you, Dad? Okay, so let me ask you this. Let's say next month you're driving and you get a flat tire. You can't just patch it for a couple of dollars. You have to buy a brand new $60 tire. Well, could you afford that $60 tire and the $60 program in the same month? If no, you say, well, you just got your answer. What most people do in your situation is just lower it about $5 or $10. And then if they say yeah, you say, well, you just got your answer. You'd be shocked what you can get for $60 a month. And that's it.